Welcome.
Hello.
We are brand new at this and we are motivated travelers.
We are indeed.
And the name is because I am Stacy.
I'm Matt.
Moda.
Moda.
So it's just a play off our name.
That's all it is.
So motivated travelers.
Yep, that's it.
We're just going to talk about who we are, what we're doing, and what you can expect from our channel today.
And why we're doing it. Because a lot of times people will ask, why go full time? And that's one of the things we get asked a whole lot. So we actually made a list of questions that we've been asked over the last few months, several months that is, as to why we're doing what we're doing. And I can either take that or you can take it. How are you going to do it?
You can take why we're full time, and then I think we should also tell them, how long we've been and stuff.
A little bit about us. We've been together some 32 years, long time, and been married for 26 of that. Okay, yeah, I was about
26.
About to get in a lot of trouble. Well, soon to be 26. It'll be 26.
No, it's 26 already. It'll be 27 next. Maybe I should have taken this.
You
question.
probably should have, so I'm already in trouble. So thanks for that. No, we've been together for a long time. We've got 3 kids, 3 boys that are all grown, all married to wonderful ladies. We've been really blessed in that aspect, and a slew of grandbabies. Slew, I guess, is the number for 6.
Going on 7.
Going on 7.
Just found out about number 7.
That's right, we did. So kind of split up all over the place. We've got a couple of our boys here and their families here in Kentucky. Excuse me, in Kentucky, and another one in Texas.
We're Kentuckians.
We bounce around, yeah. So we are from Kentucky. If you didn't hear the accent or whatever come out already, we're a little bit kind of south, but not truly southern. All right.
Hey, if you ask anybody from Kentucky, we're from the South.
This is true. Yeah.
I don't know why it's on the map where it is, because it should have totally been further south.
That's true.
But why full time?
Why full time? That is kind of a loaded question. There's a lot that goes into that answer, and I'm just going to throw it out there because there may be people out there that they're on the brink that want to do it but are unsure and what it's all involved with going full time. And the biggest thing with that is truly your why can't be our why. Just like our why can't be anybody else's why.
Yeah.
So for us, the why is loaded. It is simply, we realize at the age we're at, which I'm, you have to just kind of take life by the reins and own it. And we were fortunate and blessed enough to be able to both work remotely to allow us to pick up and be on the road full time. Not everybody has that option, and we understand that. And, we understand that if you have to actually make the decision for where you're at in your life, just like we did. So for us, it was, we've got this window. We don't know what in 2 years is going to look like. We don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. But for right now, we can hit it. So
our kids are older.
Right.
Our grandbabies are still young.
That's right.
They range in age from 7 to not born yet.
Right.
So
the youngest being just a few months.
6 months old is the youngest one right now. So they're still young enough to where, if we're gone for months at a time, we still come back and we're good.
Right.
We can pick up where we left off. So
yeah, and that was a big factor for us is, we had always kind of told our kids and ourselves for that matter that we would never be the ones to leave. If our kids wanted to move away and live someplace else, that's one thing, because we did have a couple of our kids that were in the military and we adapted to that at that time. But we were always like, we're not the ones that are ever going to leave our kids. And what changed that was some health issues over the years that kind of really put some things in perspective. In 2018, I had some health issues. Earlier, some years before that, Stacy had some really bad health issues that almost both cost us our lives. And then looking back, once we really both got to a point where we were healthy enough to feel like we could
it was
do
like
adventures,
unleashing a beast.
It was one of those, like, you know what?
It was crazy.
It was absolutely insane.
We started skydiving and
Just
hiking and
off the rails adventure. And
going.
before you knew it, we realized we were adventure junkies. adrenaline junkies, whatever you want to call it. We
newly
True,
adrenaline
true.
junkie. Like, I'm not going to jump out of an airplane if I don't have somebody strapped behind me. That's just,
We're getting there. But, you know, it still does come down to a personal decision. And, again, you know, we did it because we knew that if we didn't take this chance in 20 years, 30 years, if we're that fortunate to be around then, we didn't want to have any regrets.
no regrets.
No regrets. So we did it. We bought a small rig late last year in the fall.
22 foot.
A 22 foot, and decided, okay, let's see what we can do. See if we like it, because we thought worst case scenario, we got a small rig, we could tow with our SUV.
We could be weekenders.
We could be weekenders. We may or may not even like it, and then we can be weekenders, or we might take a vacation here and there. We went out the weekend following purchasing that RV, and
Immediately
addiction. We also have 2 German Shepherds, which you're going to see me referring to them Lincoln Place, because they are absolute monsters. They are beasts. They're both laying here at our feet, and he's really wanting to knock over the camera stand right now, and I'm trying to not let him do that. So if it shakes a little bit, it's because our 115-pound German Shepherd is now walking across the floor.
Yep.
Okay. So with that being said, we went all in. We dove into it. We thought, okay, we love this. We like the flexibility. We like the option of being able to work on the road. We like being able to be someplace else. You know, we like the ability to have a different view. Our office views, when we started, were different. You know, we were in the woods, and, you know, we were at a park in Indiana. We were at a KOA, or we would be in Michigan or Wisconsin. It was amazing. And then we decided, you know what, to move towards that, we kept telling ourselves we had a 5-year plan, which then turned into a 3-year plan, which then turned into now. So at the beginning of the year, we went to visit our son in Texas, and his wife and our grandson at that time. And
this is Lincoln, by the way. He's feeling needy.
yeah, he
He wanted
needy.
to be.
He hears
in
us
the
talking,
video.
so he immediately thinks it's time for me to go get some loving from mom and dad.
Yeah.
So we went down to Texas and we're visiting our son, and we just had been looking at some different units. We understood the floor plan we really kind of like. I think we could say this floor plan was the one we were really looking at, but across several different manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
And it just turned out that a particular manufacturer down there had the unit we had really were kind of wanting to look at the most. And we thought, let's just go look. What can it hurt?
Everybody that's anybody knows that if you just go look, something's coming from
Something's coming from it.
There's no just looking.
Yeah.
It's
So
like window shopping with money in your pocket.
So what we did is we went to Blue Compass RV in Dallas, Mesquite, Texas area, and looked at the Alliance Delta 292 RL, which, if you're not familiar with those type things, which we weren't, RLs, rear living.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, and we'll get into that some more. But went and looked at it, immediately fell in love. It was the layout we wanted. It was kind of what we expected when we would see videos and pictures on it. And it was just big enough, because I had a couple of things I didn't want to do to kind of go outside my comfort level. One was I didn't want anything bigger than 34 feet, and I really didn't want more than one slide. So the compromise was this had 2 slides. She won on that one. But the other flip side of that was our vehicle at the time wouldn't be able to pull anything as big as what we were wanting. So we updated our truck shortly before we went on that trip, and decided just to get a bigger truck, and went with a 3/4 ton Chevy Silverado 2500 HD, which I love. Its name is Yeti. Anyway.
Needless to say.
Right.
We went from buying our very first RV in August of 2023.
Right.
To updating to the rig that we're in now in January 2024.
That's right.
Sold our house.
Just 4 months, almost literally later.
Yeah, well, it closed in
End of
April, but we actually went full time in March.
Middle of March, right? Because we got our house ready, and then we were like, okay, we've got 2 German Shepherds, trying to organize showings around dogs, and if you've got dogs that shed, it was literally every time we'd get a message, hey, you got a showing.
Oh,
it was a mad dash to clean up, vacuum up hair from them. So we thought, you know
tumbleweeds everywhere.
The house was empty, except for a couch and a couple of things. And we thought, let's get out of the house. Let's go and go in the RV. Let's go and go to a campground here locally. And that's what we did.
I think that's a good segue into the next question.
Yeah, no, it is. How to decide on your full-time rig. So why don't you take that one?
Space.
Yeah.
because there would have been no way to go full time in our 22-foot Jayco. There was no slides. It was a queen bed, a dining bench for 2 people, little kitchen. There was 2 like corner bunk beds, and the dogs slept on the bottom bunk bed, and then we used the top one for storage and a bathroom.
It worked for what we were trying to do.
Yes. We follow KYD, which shout out to them, because they were one of the big motivators to get us going, because they've always said, start small, start now.
Right.
And so in that moment last August, that's what we were capable of with the towing vehicle that we had. So that's what we did.
Yep.
But when looking for a full-time rig, we knew, one, we needed to get something bigger. We needed to have recliners, because my sweet husband here likes to relax at night. Because
who doesn't like a recliner?
He's, that was one thing that we had at the house, and that was his. The kids knew that was Papa's recliner, and so we had to have recliners in this one.
Some things were non-negotiable. All right, that was one of them.
That was one of them. A non-negotiable for me was I wanted to make sure that we had a bed that had a walk around.
Yep.
Because the Jayco didn't, and I had to climb over.
Yeah, that was always fun
to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Which don't recommend in the middle of the night and just tripping, falling, because the dogs would lay right next to the bed. So once I would clear the obstacle of climbing over him,
I'm not a little guy either.
I would have to climb over the dogs.
Yeah.
So don't recommend that. And so the walk around bed. What was the other? Oh, tankless water heater.
Yep.
That was an absolute must, non-negotiable.
And we didn't know that was a thing in the RV world. And that particular unit, being that it was new, did have that tankless water heater.
Yeah.
It was a game changer, because when you're out at a campground and your activities all day, hot, sweaty, whatever, you come back, whether you want to take a steaming hot shower or just a really long, mildly warm shower, you can do that. Yeah, you got to empty your tank, but if you're at a campground, so what? You're going to dump it.
So great.
Now, I will tell you too, kind of going with the rig, one of the things that helped us make that decision was literally the crash course we put it through for us as well. We got that thing at the end of August in 23, and between the months of really September through the end of the year, we hit Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, and then back to Kentucky, and then some stops in between. I mean, we just hit the ground running.
We were practically full-time in anyway.
We were, truly. And it was mainly because we wanted to test ourselves, which is important. Because if you're going to do it and you have the mindset of, I need to see what it's really like for long periods of time, you've got to do it. You have to actually push yourself.
I do not recommend never RVing and going straight full-time.
Yeah,
because you don't know the nuances of what you want in a rig. There's a lot of things that you think that you're going to want,
right,
that you're probably, once you get them, you're going to be like, why in the heck did I ask for this?
That and the fact that you're going to test your relationship beyond anything you could ever imagine just backing into a campsite. I mean, whether it's backing in or just getting set up on the morning, those early trips will put your
We've never been so close to divorce, and we've been married for 26 years.
I wouldn't say divorce, but one of us catching a case for something was probably on the table. Right. So, yeah.
I mean, we've hung up on each other. Doop. So then we got walkie-talkies that you can't really hang up on each other.
And you're going to go through it. That's the kicker. You're going to go through it.
No matter how great your relationship is.
But that's part of working out the bugs of not only learning a new RV, learning a new way of life, but learning how to communicate with each other in a different way that you've never had to.
Yeah.
That's truly another way of looking at it. We've been pretty decent communicators and being able to, getting along and all that kind of stuff over the years, but backing into a campsite for the first couple of times, I'll save our first RV weekend out trauma and drama for another video.
Yeah.
But needless to say,
cover that some other
we're
time.
lucky we kept stairs.
Yeah. But, so anyway, going back to what kind of rig you're looking for, just think about your day-to-day usage, because it's not vacation anymore once you're full-time.
Right.
So you have to be able to function in your rig like you would function at home. So we knew we wanted to have rear living, so we would have kind of a separate living space from the bedroom space, and from like the kitchen. So when you come in, and we'll do a tour video as our next video, and we'll get that posted in a week or so. But you know, you have your kitchen, then you have your living room, and then you can go down this little hall and there's your bedroom, and you can be shut off. So that was really important for us. Also, since we work from home, we knew we needed to have a space to both, you know, work our daily jobs and communicate and set up our computers and things like that. So just keep all those things in mind when you're looking for a new rig, especially if you're going to be full-time.
One of the things to really keep in the forefront of your mind also is how you are in your day-to-day sticks and bricks life will really be how you are in your RV life. If you're a homebody and you don't like to go out and you just want to kind of do your thing, that's how you're going to be in your RV life. You have to kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit, and that's something we were kind of pushing ourselves to do.
We're well, I think I'm more of an introvert than he is. He calls himself an introvert, but he talks to everybody. He's like your grandma in a grocery line.
Yeah. Is that a shot at my age? Is that what that was?
So, but I mean, even in my job, I have to travel too. So, I get the anxiety of having to go and meet new people and talk. Yeah. But I really think RVing, going to rallies and different campsites and meeting your neighbors and things like that, it really helps.
Gotta put yourself out there.
Get you out of that shell.
Yep.
And so every time is a little bit easier. Let's see. Oh, the screen died.
So we got a list, so we're going to refer to the list because I can't remember what number 3 was, unless you want to add anything more to picking it.
No, I think the biggest thing when you're picking your rig is go to RV shows, visit different dealers.
YouTube
is, that's how we found this rig, was a YouTube video. We actually had 3 different rigs kind of in mind. 3 different
manufacturers,
brands.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Be thorough, be methodic, and
join Facebook groups for the manufacturers that you're really looking at, because that'll give you a true depiction of the customer service for that manufacturer and the issues that current rig owners are having for that manufacturer. All right, here's the good one. How to tell your family and navigate their responses about you going full time.
Yeah, so you just have to tell them. You know, you can't sugarcoat it. You can't make it, well, we're thinking about maybe. No, it literally has to be something that, for one, it wasn't probably an immediate shock to our family, simply because...
Not to our kids.
Not to our kids, because they know that I kind of had the itch for this for a few years.
Yeah.
To everyone else, it came out of left field. You know, when we did tell our kids, it was one of those where, you know...
Do both of you want to do it?
Right.
Kind of looking at me like...
Is Dad pulling you along,
Mom?
Is
this something you want to do, Mom? Are you sure?
Right. Is Dad, you know, wink twice if you need help type thing? No. It was one of those... It was sometimes quite the opposite, because I had a lot of reservations initially with just jumping in, and she was helping me along, like, if we're going to do it, we got to just do it. And then there were days where I was just like, if we're going to do it, we got to just do it.
Yeah.
It's got to be a joint discussion. It can't be the husband or the wife wanting it and the other one not, because you're gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
But telling the kids, we just told them, and we worked through that by saying, you know,
this is our tentative plan.
This is exactly we laid it out
for the next 6 months.
Yep.
So, these are the dedicated times. You can see that we're going to try to come back here and visit you guys for lengthy periods of time. We're going to go to Texas and visit our other son and his family for lengthy periods of time.
We have family in Florida. We go down there and visit family.
So giving them a schedule, which we kind of do whenever we set up, you know, tentatively of where we're going to be and when we're going to be back in the area. So that they have something to look forward to. They know where
to look forward to. We need that grandbaby time.
Yeah.
Love our kids, but we need that grandbaby time.
They know where we're going to be and when we're going to be there, so that they can kind of follow us along on our journey.
Right.
And it just gives them a sense of, okay, they haven't forgotten about us. We're still important. I think the camera was rocking because Lincoln was coming over here. So I think that's really important. But just know that there's always going to be somebody that thinks you're nuts.
Yeah. Whether it was people that we would work with and we kind of bring it up, whether it was you know, family members that were like,
"How do you live in a trailer?"
How do you? There's such a misconception.
There's a stigmatism.
There's totally a stigmatism that it's, you know, this lower than life kind of, or, you know, lesser than type lifestyle.
Well,
and it's,
I think people think that when you go full time in an RV, it's out of necessity instead of want, when it's actually the total opposite.
Complete
because
opposite.
very rarely would you go to an RV out of necessity, because it's really not cheap.
No, you don't save money being in an RV.
No.
If anything, your Amazon cart list is going to get long and distinguished like you would not believe. You're going to be busier than you would with a residential sticks and bricks, because there's always something to fix. That's a whole nother video, and we'll chime in that. But if you're into the world at all and understand it, you've heard multiple people that make videos on YouTube or whatever else say that exact same thing. There's always something that's going to break. You're basically pulling your home, and it's in an earthquake every time you do it.
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing I would say is, when you're telling your family, is to explain to them your why, and give them at least, you know, a good enough amount of time to know when you're going to be back in town, so that you all can work for that. FaceTime is very important.
Yep.
Being able to see your family. I mean, I don't know that a lot of people would do this back in the day before technology is the way that it is now. But
well, there was, but it was on such a smaller scale. Nobody realized that, one, how great of a lifestyle it really is, but two, that the type of freedom and flexibility you get from kind of being off grid is almost second to none.
Yeah.
Now, with that, there comes a whole nother set of challenges, because, like we mentioned, we both work full time. We both did work full time until here recently. And we'll kind of get in that here in a second. But the other thing we get asked a lot about is, how are you going to work on the road?
Ding ding. Well, I have a remote job.
Yep.
I've been working remotely for 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to travel some for work. It's about 25%, so it's about a week a month. But the great thing is there's airports everywhere. So if it's someplace that we can't take the rig to, or if I'm just going to be gone for a couple of days, I'll usually catch a flight from wherever we're at and fly in for a few days and then come back. I work for a logistics company.
Yep.
And I'm capable of doing my job Monday through Friday, you know, from home. That I'm just very blessed and fortunate in that. There are tons of remote jobs out there. There are tons of work camping jobs, and we might do a video later on just kind of going through all those things, because as my lovely husband has just said, he recently got laid off of his job, let go. His position was eliminated. He was a contractor, a business analyst contractor.
Correct. Yeah, and I had been working remote since 2016.
Yeah.
And we're both kind of like in the IT side of things, like analysts, basically business analysts.
Yep.
My position was eliminated with my company, therefore I'm now unemployed. And this just happened literally a month ago, from a couple of days ago.
So we went full time, had this great trip. On the way back, we were almost to Kentucky for our stint here, and he gets the call that he is been let go.
You know, those are things that would happen whether you lived in the sticks and bricks or if you lived in an RV. That wasn't the first time. This isn't the first time that's happened. No. It probably won't be the last time, because of the type of work we do. It's kind of those, hey, we need people, no we don't. Hey, we need people, no we don't.
Especially in today's economy, it's
is
so
what it
up
is.
and down.
But with working remote, one of the things we did, and we show you kind of the walkthrough of our RV, is we made modifications to accommodate the space we needed to be as functional and focused on the work we needed to do, and comfortable, because that has a lot to do with it. So we made some changes that helped us be able to be focused on the work we needed to do at the time. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of variables that go into when you're traveling. Work's one of them. Navigating family issues another. The other one is health. You know,
medication.
When you're on the road, it's not like all your life stops. You still have to have doctor visits. You still have to. You still get sick. You still get codes, and you still got to figure out how to get your
and
medicine.
that's was honestly one of the first questions that like our parents asked us is, well, what are you going to do about getting your medications or seeing a doctor? What if you get sick? What if something happens? So
we're fortunate enough that one, with my wife's work and the benefits that we currently have, you know, we can get a doctor on the phone pretty much at any time through Teladoc or even through our actual physician's office. They offer that as well.
yeah.
Medications, it is not complicated, everyone. And you'll read posts, you'll read stuff online of, oh, it's such a big stressor. We have been in middle of nowhere, New Mexico in the middle of nowhere, Utah, and been able to fill prescriptions by making a phone call. Hey, can you transfer my prescription from my pharmacy to whatever pharmacy I ask them? They download a profile or they create a profile. You've got your medicine either the same day or the next day.
I would say probably to simplify it a little bit is if you used a national pharmacy like a Walgreens or something like that that's more Walmart, something that's going to be in more places that you travel, it's a lot easier because you can just go into that pharmacy that you want to have it filled out and they can pull your profile.
We did get kind of lucky though when we were in Moab, Utah. The major kind of main grocery store there is a County Market or Country Mart or something like that.
City Mart.
And it's actually a Kroger.
Yeah.
Recently.
And for you all that don't know, Kroger is the big name brand out here in Kentucky.
So that's where we would do our prescriptions. And oddly enough, they were able to just download a profile and have my medicine or our medicine within the next day. Yeah. You can't ask for anything more than that. But we did the same thing because we tested all this during those initial shakedown trips when we were in Florida last year.
The other thing I would say on this, and then we can move on, is if your medications offer 90-day supplies,
take it.
Do that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to take a lot of the stress off of trying to when you're moving. If you can get a 90-day supply, that is worth it.
Okay, we thought we would change spots, break it up a little bit. Video's kind of running long, so next thing we wanted to talk about is with moving around so much and having a different view as your backyard is how do you get packages, how do you get your mail, how do you manage your mail?
Yeah.
What
do we do for an address?
What do we do for an address? So we looked into several options. We looked into, because there are 3 states in the country that allow you to be kind of a nomad and use their state as your place of residence and still be on the go. We didn't necessarily want to make that particular change fully yet as far as making another state our residence until we kind of still work through some of where's going to be our, where will we eventually maybe buy land and maybe build a home base of some sort. I don't know. So we use a service that allows for us to have a mailbox here. So our mail gets delivered to a local postal service here, and we're postal annex, and it allows us to be able to view our mail when it comes in online. We can check it on the website. We can say, hey, keep it, recycle it, or ship it to us. We can even have packages sit there. So
yep. And they also provided us an address that we utilize on all of our documents, and our address as far as on our driver's license.
Yep.
I use it for work, and it seems to work out just
banking,
fine.
Everything.
I know there are multiple companies like that out there.
Right.
The big one is Escapees, and I think that they really focus on Florida, South Dakota, and Texas, because those are those 3 big states that will allow full-time RVers. So, but Amazon packages, I mean,
Anywhere.
you can find an Amazon locker.
Yeah.
You can have them sent to your campground. Always ask the campground first.
Some campgrounds might charge.
Yeah, they might charge, or they may say, we don't even like to deal with packages.
Yep.
Our home-based campground that we stay at here in Kentucky, they even have a mail room, and they shoot you an email every time you get a package and you get a code, and so it's perfect.
Yeah. So that full list we just went through, that was the biggest and most popular questions we get asked and have been asked most regularly as far as why we're doing what we're doing. And I think that covers a lot of it.
Yeah.
What I would ask is if there's something you want to know more of, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're new to this. We just want to be transparent with you all on our channel, and you're going to see a lot of just being real, regular living. If there's something cool gadget wise, I'm gonna show you that. If there's an easy install, I'm gonna show you that.
There's lots of dog hair. We're going to show you that.
Yeah, there's lots of dog hair. There's always gonna be lots of dog hair. They roll around in our rig like tumbleweeds.
So one thing I will say is that, you know, we've got quite a few videos that we want to do coming up. We want to do, our next one will be a tour of our rig and how we made, you know, modifications for full-time living. We'll also do one about traveling with pets and their safety and how we handle vet situations.
Yep, because that's another one too. We didn't even put that on the list, and that's a big one.
Yeah.
We're just fortunate to you can kind of work around some of that, and we'll talk about that in a future video. You're also going to see some other videos we've already posted of just some of our adventures that we kind of did when we were traveling earlier in the year. Go back and watch those if you like. Thumbs up.
They're not real like YouTube videos because we hadn't really started to do this yet, but they're, you know, really videos that we take to chronicle things that we're doing for our grandkids. And we're planning on having a video that comes out once a week that is pointed straight towards our grandkids because, you know, anytime they can hear their name on YouTube or
they get a kick out of it.
You know, see where Papa and Gigi are and what we're doing, you know, and that's really
that's
cool.
the other thing too. We're referred to as Papa and Gigi. That's our names to our grandkids. Also, this is Liberty. She hadn't made an appearance yet. This is Liberty though, and she is the smaller of the two, but not by a lot. Don't let the stature fool you because she can hold her own. So, with that said, I think that's all for this one. We've probably been long-winded enough, as she likes to tell me.
But we're looking forward to what this brings, the future of motivated travelers, and we just hope that you know, our videos will help motivate you.
Yeah, get out there and enjoy the adventure. Other
Until
than that,
next time.
later.